Alright, I'm back out in the shop. I received that gasket set and the oil pan gasket, the sump gasket, whatever you want to call it, gasket. And these are a bugger. You got to be careful. I put a new seal on there, and you got to make sure it goes down smoothly. And I greased it up good. The other problem is you'll get this pulled down, and it will leave about a 1/4 of an inch gap. Usually, what you have to do is turn your crank and use a rubber mallet or a dead blow and tap on here at the same time, and then your gears will get meshed in, and then it'll fall right in. So I just finished torquing those down. Now I believe I'm going to take a break, but I'm going to go wash up, have some coffee, come out, and I'll clean this up. I should have had all this done beforehand, but I still got to get that old gasket off there. And I have the other one all cleaned up. This is the one I got from George, one of them. Maybe someone can tell me. This came in the oil pan gasket set. They also supplied new screws here. Yeah, I don't know what that's for concerning a gasket. I don't know. If you know, let me know. Too late now, but next time maybe. This thing is all buttoned up. I just remembered to put the spark plug wires on. I have checked the oil and it's full. I'll have to check it again once it gets circulated through the filter. And I contemplated doing a bench test, but I don't know. I have this cart. I drilled a hole so that the shaft can go through there. Another engine. Should be getting the parts for that one sometime soon. Okay, so now I can't do a whole lot. I got to go to the tractor, get adjusted, but then I'm going to bring that tractor in here, and we're going to lower this thing down. I'm telling you what, I'm glad I've got that winch up there in the ceiling, because man, you know what? I don't think I used that to pull this engine. I think I lifted it with brute strength. Or I put something in here, which I don't think I did. Well, I guess I'll pick up after the chiropractor. Okay, so it's another day, and the ignition, the key won't work. And I know that it was working because the mechanic turned it over to show me that it does turn over and that the battery was good. It won't do that now, and I don't know what I could possibly have wrong. I got the wire going to the starter. It's the only wire that goes to it. This harness is plugged in tight. I just don't know what else it could be. I jumped across the solenoid and it started. The other problem that I have, and I have another switch, I can pull that one out just to be sure. But you know what else I did, and this is a first for me, but it's par for the course. Yeah. Somehow, when I hooked it up, this is choke, and Bunny is slow. So I gotta look at that. So, as you can see this right here, that hole is the wrong one. It should be over here. Yeah. Okay, I swapped that around. Now let's switch hands on this here videoing contraption. Grab this. Key on. Nothing. Let's choke it. All right, now we're going to swap out the ignition switch. Shift, maybe there's a problem there. Otherwise, could be a bad solenoid, and Duke sent me one. So I got parts. I'm gonna do the switch first because that's easiest, quickest to replace. Well, back out here in the shop again today on Monday. Went back after this thing, and man, made some headway. I called a friend that used to be a mechanic at the hardware store here, and he asked if I had engaged the PTO yet by pulling the button out. I told him I hadn't done that yet because there's no blades on here, and I didn't know if the bolts down there were just barely hanging on. I didn't want to try to mess with that. So I put the new blades on today. I had to start it, of course, by crossing the post with a screwdriver, got it running. As soon as I pull up on that PTO, it kills it. So I sitting on there. I kept monkeying around with different positions of the key switch and just trying different things. I shut it off, and then I turned the key and it started under the key. But I thought, okay, that's good. I tried the PTO, of course it's still killing the engine. And I thought, well, I'll drive it around, maybe it'll jar something loose. As soon as I let off the clutch pedal, it kills it. So I called my friend back, and he's asked a couple more questions, but he's thinking that perhaps that pedal switch is not working right. But I have one on order through Amazon, should be here Wednesday. And so I guess this will just sit here until then. I was driving this around before. The other day when I worked on it, Saturday. It's just that I couldn't start it with the key. Weird, isn't it? This morning is Thursday. I got the clutch pedal safety switch in the mail yesterday, and I replaced it. You have to drop the deck. What I did is I raised up the front of this with my winch up on the ceiling. I disconnected everything on the deck except the back hinge part. So when I lifted up the mower, the deck stayed on the ground, the front lifted up, then you can get to it. Now there's 4 bolts on this pedal bracketry. There's one here, there's one under there, same on the other side. You have to take those 4 bolts out and let that bracket hang down a bit so that you can push that switch down through the floor. Put your new one in, get everything buttoned back up. I got on there, same thing. Why is it doing that? The only thing left is the safety switch on the seat. Now, I tested that before, not with a meter or anything, but it was before this would start with the key. Something with the PTO trying to start, even though it was killing the engine, magically the key started working. Well, what I discovered is this wasn't plugged in. I mean, it had been, but I forgot to plug it in, so I thought maybe that's the deal. Plugged it in, nope, still was stalling out. I thought, well, that don't mean anything right now. That seat switch could be bad. So I had seen where George, the Shade Tree Fix-It man, removed this out of that plug end. And I pulled it out. I've had it out before testing it, but again, that was before I was able to use the key, which magically started working. So I pulled this out, got back on there, started it up, started releasing my foot off that pedal, stayed running. Pulled the PTO, blades came on. So, this one is done, except I do need to order another switch. Now, I thought about using this one for myself, keeping it. If I do, I'm not so worried about the switch on the seat because I tend to disconnect them anyway. However, with my son doing some of the mowing, I believe I'm going to replace the switch because even though we grew up, there were no safety switches. I never even came close to chopping my toes or fingers off because I knew enough to keep them away from there. But we make mistakes. We're not always thinking. I'm going on 57 years old and I could still stick my foot under there checking something and not even realize it. Better to have the switch connected. So I'm going to order that switch. They're not cheap, but it'll be worth it. I think I paid $150 for this tractor. I just paid maybe $15 for that pedal switch, which didn't need to be replaced, but now that's new. And I did, I can't remember how much I paid for the gaskets and stuff. This is the one that George gave me the heads for. So all in all, I really don't have that much into it, and I might just keep this one around. So we'll see. Alrighty, we'll catch you later. Oh well. I think that I might keep that one for myself. Now, like I say, I just got one more mower to work on. And that, maybe I didn't say it, but I've got one more. And that one had a blown engine. It's a 21 horse single cylinder, so I got to find another engine for it. And then that one will be done and ready. Then I'm just waiting for spring so I can get them sold. Now we'll see you later.